Well, we got another fire damaged guitar here, which is a real crime for anybody to have to go through. I mean, it's sad to lose all your possessions, but instruments kind of fall in a special place in those things that just get damaged, and sometimes they're just unrecoverable. I mean, this has got so much soot and so much grime and everything like that, so I've got to be very cautious about how I clean the body without trying to remove everything. But a couple interesting things. Steve actually put this guitar together with acoustic strings, which I think are a little bit heavy for this. I think we can get a better setup with this if we put back on just regular steel strings. I'll put probably, 10s on there, so he'll feel pretty normal. But the putting on phosphor bronze and stuff like that these are probably 12s or maybe even 13s or something. But they're not really meant to be on this type of a guitar, especially a hollow body. I don't think it's really set up for that kind of pull. So this little guy just wants to say hello. So he always wants to say, hey, come on, give me the paw. Yeah, give me. Anyways, so we are just going to have to strip this bad boy down to its core. It's kind of a pain. I don't work on too many hollow bodies, specifically because the way they're designed. You can see that these are recessed pickups, but this is kind of body mounted, I think, in some way or shape or form. He's always trying to steal the attention. But this house is going to smell like a barbecue pit for a bit. So this is what the back looks like. You can see the neck is pretty bad as well. It's got a lot of soot that we've got to get through too. So I'm going to try to see if I can find the best stuff online to get it working again. And I'll have to do my best to try to see if I can save some of this. But oh man, that's not good. That does not fare well. It doesn't even want to change positions past that, but it might be just locked up or something like that. I may be able to get it out, but these things, potentiometers could survive. They may have been so old anyways that we don't know. You can see down here, if you look at it closely, he put some rice in there to try to absorb some of the moisture and everything like that, which was actually pretty smart. I mean, if it can work for cell phones, but we will deal with each one of these as we go. But hopefully I can help Steve out and give him his instrument back. Well, that's how much soot was on those things, and it's a pretty big difference. Resurrected from the fire. Tuned up and ready to go. Hey everybody, the Eddie here, and just wanted to put together just a little bit of what I did to this video to get this particular instrument back into working condition after a really bad house fire. So let me kind of give you the tips on what I did to resolve it, because I didn't really film very much of it because I didn't really have a lot of hope for it because it was really bad. So let's get into that. Right. So the soot that was on this thing was so hard that even something like Goof Off would not take it off. And I've used certain things like acetones and different types of things, and it would just strip the finish right off of this body. And so I knew not to do that because I've made that previous idiotic mistake. But I was able to get all of the chrome and everything like that restored. I don't even know how bad this was, because when my buddy gave it to me, he did try to get the Goof Off to work with it, and it was just so bad. This particular switch was literally stuck in that position. It would not go any further, and it is a 5-way switch. As you can see, it's working perfectly good now. These were not working, but as you can see, any kind of a hollow body, especially as deep as this, it is a very difficult guitar to work on, so I didn't even take these switches out. What I ended up doing was just kind of putting it in a center position, and I got this stuff, which is, I'm sure you guys know what this is, but Deoxit Fader. So this stuff has a lubricant added to it. The Deoxit, the regular D5 Deoxit kind of is almost like brake cleaner in a way that it kind of evaporates more, to where this stuff, it kind of leaves a residue on there that you can put in potentiometers, faders. That's exactly what it's for. So it continuously lubricates it for years to come. So that was what I did. I sprayed a bunch of this just straight down into that cavity and just kept working. And it got to the point where I would not push past the 5th position for the neck pickup. And after letting it sit for a bit, it just popped right down. So this has got all of its positions, and they don't click or anything like that. And I guarantee this guitar is probably 20 years old plus, and it's just never been cleaned. But he put some, after this, because there was so much fire damage and water damage, he put rice, you know, the cell phone trick, inside the body, and it was really covered in all sorts of soot and crap and everything like that. Took me a while to shake it all out. It's like trying to get picks out of this thing. But anyways, so I was able to get this all working. It took a couple days actually for it to finally get all of its positions back. I did have to unscrew this and kind of pull it up and then, you know, kind of straighten into it and just keep working it out until I finally got it to work really nice. So that's got the fader in it. The rest of the stuff, you wouldn't believe. Most people would never even consider doing this, but I've used it for years. But it's the simplest solve in the world. Good old English, okay? And 4/0 steel wool. That's all I did. I used 4/0 steel wool, just coated this, soaked it in that, and then just very, very lightly went around and cleaned all of the soot. Once it was kind of loose and, you know, kind of liquidy, I went through everything on the fretboard, went over the pickups, did all that kind of stuff, cleaned off all the different parts, soaked all of the hardware in a tin can, an old vape tin can that I kept forever, and I just soaked it in good old WD-40. So I soaked it in there for about 24 hours, was able to clean it up, and then I just used one of those kind of like long kind of plastic bristle brushes just to kind of get all the soot out and everything like that, cleaned all those parts. Same thing, just used, soaked those things in there for WD-40, and then just used a bristle brush and some steel wool just to clean them up. But they actually function great. They're perfectly fine now. But I did that everywhere. You can see it's shiny, it's good to go. Steel wool polished the fretboard, and then I used the same lemon oil just to recondition the wood that was on there. But I was surprised that it actually came off that easy. So this right here, I mean, it cleaned everything that was on there. And then to finish it off after everything was cleaned and ready to go, I took the couple of different products. I think you guys have seen this, something like that. This is called F1 cleaning wax. Actually, before I did this, I'm sorry. What I did is I just used a Lysol wipe just to get the grime and clean it up, and just go through everything, just try to get all of the soot and the residue from the Old English, get that off. So it was kind of a dry surface. And then I sprayed this on there, and this is just a really great polishing wax. I use it for my motorcycles, and you can use it for all sorts of different things. But I realized this is an amazing wax because what it does is it actually prevents fingerprints. So it's actually a really, really good product. If you guys never heard this, you can get this on Amazon, but it's called FW1 cleaning wax. It's amazing stuff. You can use it on all your guitars. It's very, very good. And then the very last thing to get it back to its luster, you see how pretty it is, I use this stuff. And this again, I got this for my motorcycle. This is a high gloss clear coat, and you just spray it on, and you just put it on there, leave it for about 60 seconds, and you just buff it off, and it leaves a very, very nice, lasting, shimmer. So you can see how beautiful that came out. So those are the products that I actually used. But if you guys have ever encountered a guitar that looks like it's absolutely not restorable and just like it's one for the grave, believe it or not, Old English and some 4/0 steel wool and a little bit of patience and drive to do it. I had to file the nut quite a bit. I had to put a little super glue in there. I had to adjust the neck. There's some dead spots and some different things, but I just used a, believe it or not, I don't have any actual files, but I used a hacksaw, and I used this tiny little blade and just went through it because it's super, super thin. And I actually carved the nut spacers out for the strings, got them down because they were so high at one point, they were causing intonation issues. So when you pushed them down, they were bending too much to where they were making wrong notes and everything like that. But put on the right strings, put 10 gauge on there, set the action, got the bridge in there, and it intonates great. All three pickups work, everything, the electronics work. So this is actually, in a lot of cases, in better condition than before the fire. So hope that helps. If you guys ever encounter something like that would require you to have to restore something after a fire, but the soot and the smoke and all that other stuff, it really doesn't it really doesn't smell like smoke anymore, which is a really good thing, because this is actually the second guitar I did for a friend. I had an old client that his house burned down, and he had a Les Paul from the 80s, and I restored it for him. And the worst part was the case, because it's, you know, it's got all that, not fabric, but, you know, kind of like woolish kind of material and everything like that to keep it from being scratched. But that stuff just was impossible. I mean, I left it open and put as much Lysol in it, but that stuff is just, without being able to steam clean it, it's going to stink. But the nice thing is believe it or not, this kind of has a weird chemically, I would say, potpourri-ish kind of smell. So it's kind of, it took away and it kind of covered all of that up. And then after I steel wooled any kind of porous material like the rosewood, I was able to put the Old English back on there, and it masked the smell. So this thing does not smell like fire anymore. It actually plays really good. So anyways, hope that helps. And if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. Thought I'd do a little quick demo of this guitar and see what it actually sounds like. I've got the SLO plugin from Neural DSP, got some chorus and compressor, and it's basically just kind of a clean sound and everything like that. But thought I'd just do some improv stuff, see if I can't get some tones out of this, but we'll see what the bridge sounds like here. Second position. Pickup. Middle. Neck pickup.